Hey, everyone! Damon Wayne here with North America Social Security Insider. Thanks for tuning into another live Q&A. If you're new around here, let me say this up front. I've spent nearly 3 decades inside the Social Security bureaucracy. I worked in the trenches, processed claims, dealt with the red tape, and watched firsthand how the system is set up to either help you or confuse you so much you end up leaving money on the table. And today, we're talking about two huge things that are hurting hardworking Americans right now: the billions of dollars in unclaimed benefits you're missing out on, and the explosion of AI fake videos that are scaring the life out of retirees, disabled folks, and anyone who relies on Social Security, Medicare, or MedWedge. Let's dive in, no fluff, just straight talk. Like always, first off, let's get this out of the way. A lot of you are missing money, not chump change. Billions of dollars. The National Council on Aging, NCO, puts that number at a staggering $30 billion every single year. Billion with a B at B, that unclaimed or unaccounted for in federal benefits programs. Let me repeat that. $30 billion, that enough to give every retired American an extra $1,200 a year, easy. But where's that money going? Spoiler. It not disappearing into thin air, and it not the rich and powerful who are missing out. You know who losing that $30 billion? Regular folks, people like you, people like your parents, people who worked their whole lives paying into Social Security, who need that money to pay rent, buy groceries, afford their meds. The rich, they've got teams of lawyers, accountants, and lobbyists who spend all day navigating the system to make sure they get every penny they've entitled to. Hell, they even find loopholes to get more than they're entitled to. But the rest of us, we do not have that luxury. Most of us are too busy working, taking care of our families, or just trying to figure out the confusing mess of Social Security forms to even know what benefits we qualify for. And that's why I do this channel, why I show up every single day for these live Q&As. I want to help you cut through the bureaucracy, avoid the mistakes, and get the money you earn. Because I've seen too many people leave thousands of dollars on the table simply because they didn't know better. Let me give you a real example, mo's that stuck with me from my time at THI. A woman named Mary, 72 years old, came into my office a few years back. She'd been retired for 7 years, living on a fixed income, struggling to afford her Medicare Part D premiums. She thought she was only eligible for her standard retirement benefit, but it turns out her late husband had worked for 35 years, and she qualified for surviving spouse benefits that would have given her an extra $400 a month. That $4,800 a year, money she'd been missing out on for 7 years. Do the math. That $33,600 gone just because no one told her she qualified. Mary was stupid. She was just overwhelmed. The Social Security website is a labyrinth. The forms are confusing, and there is no one there to walk you through it unless you're willing to wait on hold for hours. And Marion's story isn't unique. Millions of Americans are in the same boat. The NCO says that 1 in 3 seniors misses out on at least one benefit they've eligible for, and the average unclaimed amount per person is over $1,500 a year. That adds up fast, especially when you're living on a fixed income. Now, herein the thing. Social Security, Medicare, Medicare, these programs are supposed to help you, right? But the truth is, they've not set up to make it easy for you to get the benefits you deserve. I worked in the system for 28 years, so I know. There are layers of red tape, confusing rules, and constant changes that even people who work in the system struggle to keep up with. And now it's getting worse. Why? Because of misinformation. We've always had some bad info floating around the internet. People sharing old rules, incorrect eligibility requirements, or just flat-out lies. But with the rise of AI, it exploded. Now we've got thousands of videos from all over the world. People who don't know the first thing about U.S. Social Security, making videos about retirement benefits, Medicare, Medicaid, and all the rest of it using AI to make themselves look legitimate. And let me tell you, these videos are convincing. They use American flags in the background. They wear the same clothes I do. They even mimic my tone of voice. Yesterday, a viewer sent me a video that was a 100% AI clone of me. Let me paint the picture for you. This fake Damon Wayne had an American flag behind him just like I do. He had a globe on the shelf just like mine. His chair was the same style, just a different color. He was wearing a blue shirt. You know, the blue shirts I usually wear. I didn't wear a blue shirt today specifically because of these clones. He even had two mic stands P for his main mic, one boom stand, just like I do. It creepy, right? But here the worst part. The thumbnail said Muger, Social Security changes coming by April. Act now. The video was 17 minutes long, and it said absolutely nothing. No real information, no actual changes, just 17 minutes of vague scare tactics. Designed to get views and make people panic, and get this, 160,000 people watched that video, 160,000 Americans who are now stressed out, wondering if they need to call the Social Security Administration, if they need to rush to file paperwork, if their benefits are going to be cut. And it being all a lie. That the power of AI. It can create something that looks and sounds real even when it can complete garbage. I want to be clear. I'm not against AI. I think AI can be a tool for good, helping people access information faster, simplifying complex processes. But when it used to scam people, to spread misinformation, to prey on people, been fears that crossing a line, and unfortunately, it only going to get worse. These AI creators know that retirees and disabled folks watch YouTube for information. They know we am looking for answers, that we're worried about our financial future, so they crank out these fake videos by the hundreds, using scare tactics to get clicks and ad revenue. And the worst part, most people can tell the difference between a real video and a fake one. AI is that good now. I've had viewers send me videos of fake Social Security officials, fake financial advisors, even fake news anchors, AI generated, talking about benefits, changes that don't exist, stimulus checks that aren't coming, and tariff rebates that will never arrive. Let me ask you guys, raise your hand if you've ever seen a video about a DOJ dividend or a tariff rebate that's supposed to give you free money. Now keep your hand up if you actually receive that money. Yeah, that's what I thought. Nobody. Because those videos are lies. There is no Judine dividend. There is no tariff rebate. The government isn't sending out checks for money from tariffs not how it works. But these AI videos make it sound like it a done deal, like you're missing out if you don't act fast, and people fall for it because they want to believe it true. Who would want a little extra money to help with bills? Now let's talk about scare tactics, because I admit I use them too. But herein the difference. My scare tactics are based on reality. I'm not making up changes or lying about benefits. I'm telling you the hard truth that politicians don't want you to hear. The truth is, Social Security is in trouble. The Social Security Trustees Report, the Congressional Budget Office, CBO, every major financial organization. Could they all say the same thing? If politicians don't do something soon, we're going to see a 23% cut in Social Security benefits by 2034. Let me break that down for you. If you're getting $2,000 a month now, that cut will drop your check to $1,540 a month. That's $460 less every month, $5,520 less every year for people living on a fixed income. That a disaster. That the difference between being able to afford rent and groceries, or choosing between them. That the difference between being able to pay for your meds or going without. And this is an scare tactic, getting a fact. Politicians have had 40 years to fix this. 40 years. They'd kicked the can down the road, made empty promises, and done nothing. And now, running out of time, I talk about this until I'm blue in the face because it matters. I've seen what happens when people don't prepare. They lose their homes. They can afford health care. They struggle to put food on the table. And I am not going to stop talking about it until either we prevent that cut or it happens and we have to help people pick up the pieces. Some people get tired of me talking about it. They say, Damon, we get it. But I'm not going to stop because 40 years of inaction is enough. We deserve better, and I'm going to keep fighting for you. Another big issue with these fake videos is that they're already talking about things we don't have answers to yet, like the 2027 COA. Let me remind you, the COA, cost of living adjustment is announced every September based on the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, CPI-YEBL, from July to September. We just got the 2026 COLA announcement, 2.8% pay, a few weeks ago. And the very next day, someone sent me an AI video titled 2027 Social Security COLA Pertin. Will it be 3% or higher? Are you kidding me? We don't know what the 2027 COLA will be until September of this year. Therein, no way to predict it now. Gas prices, grocery prices, healthcare costs, of that can change between now and then. But these AI videos don't care about facts. They just want clicks. They make up a number, scare you into thinking your benefits won't keep up with inflation, and get you to watch their video. And the worst part, it confuses people. I get dozens of questions every day from people asking, Abon, is the 2027 COLA really going to be 3%? And I have to tell them, no one knows, not yet. So please, if you see a video talking about the 2027 COLA before September, scroll past it. It did not real. It did just AI garbage designed to get views. Now let's tackle another myth that being spread by these fake videos, and even some people who should know better. The idea that Social Security is monitoring your bank accounts, tracking your travel, and invading your privacy. Let me set the record straight. This is 100% incorrect for 99% of people. Let them break this down, because it's then important. There's a big difference between SSI and regular Social Security benefits, and that too where the confusion comes in. SSI stands for Supplemental Security Income, known not the same as regular retirement benefits, especially Social Security Disability Insurance, spouse benefits, or surviving spouse benefits. SSI is a welfare-based program funded by general tax revenues, not the Social Security Trust Fund. It's in for people with low income, low resources, usually disabled people, people over 65 or blind people, who can support themselves. Because of a welfare program, there are strict eligibility requirements, and when you sign up for SSI, you agree to certain reporting responsibilities. That means if you get any extra money, me too my long-lost uncle, a part-time job, a gift, you have to notify Social Security. If you travel overseas for more than 30 days, you have to notify Social Security. And yes, because of a welfare program, Social Security may ask for permission to check your bank account occasionally to make sure you're still eligible. They want to make sure you're not hiding assets or income that would disqualify you. Recently, they've gotten a little more proactive with this. If you want to keep getting SSI, you have to agree to these checks, and if you travel overseas for more than 30 days, they can cut your benefits off. That's a new rule, but it only applies to SI. But here is the key point. If you receiving regular retirement benefits, SSI, spouse benefits, divorced spouse benefits, or surviving spouse benefits, Social Security is not monitoring your bank accounts. They're not tracking your overseas travel. They're not checking to see how much money you have in savings or how many times you leave the country. Legally, they can. The Social Security Administration does not have the authority to monitor your bank accounts unless you on SSI and you've given them permission. Now, I be honest, who knows what the DoD or other federal agencies are doing behind the scenes, but officially, legally, Social Security isn't keeping tabs on you. I had a viewer named Tom email me last week. He's 68, receiving retirement benefits, and he was terrified because he saw an AI video saying Social Security was checking his bank account and would cut his benefits if he had more than $10,000 in savings. Tom had $12,000 in savings. He'd been saving for emergencies, and he was panicking, thinking he could lose his benefits. I had to calm him down and tell him the truth. That a lie. There are no asset limit for regular retirement benefits. You can have $1 million in the bank, and it won't affect your Social Security check. The asset limit only applies to SSI. Tom was so relieved, said he'd been losing sleep over it. That the damage these fake videos do, the way people panic over things that aren't real, and they take time away from the real issues that matter. All right, let's move on to the good stuff, answering your questions. That's why we'm here. Right, I got a bunch of questions from you guys today. So let's dive in. First up, Monica asks, my husband turned 67 in December and wants to retire after that date. Can he start retirement papers before his birthday, or does he have to wait until he turns 67 to get his Social Security benefits? Great question, Monica. Let me start by saying, yes, he can start the process 3 to 4 months before his 67th birthday. That and totally fine. In fact, I recommend it because it gives the Social Security Administration time to process the application, and his benefits can start right when he turns 67, so he does miss a check. Now, if you're already signed up for Medicare, which most people do when they turn 65, it's even easier because here already in the system, they have his information, his work history, his Medicare details, so turning on his Social Security benefits is just a matter of filling out a few forms, either online, over the phone, or in person. But here's a red flag I want to point out. Monica, why are you asking this? I don't mean nosy, but I've seen this situation before. Are you asking because you think you can't start your own benefits until he starts his? If that's the case, you might have already lost some money. Let me explain. There's a thing called independently entitled divorced spouse benefits. Let's call it ITB for short. It's a mouthful, I know. If you were married to your husband for at least 10 years, you're at least 62 years old, you're collecting benefits on your own work record, and he at least 62, which he is, since he are turning 67, you might be eligible for these benefits. And here in the kicker, if you've been divorced for at least 2 years, he doesn't even have to be receiving his benefits for you to get yours. That means you could have started your divorced spouse's benefits years ago without waiting for him to retire. I've had so many people come to me who've been waiting around for their ex-spouse to start benefits, thinking they can get their own until then, only to find out they've been missing out on thousands of dollars. Let me give you an example. Linda, a viewer from Florida, was married to her ex-husband for 12 years, divorced for 3 years. She turned 62 last year, but she didn't start her benefits because she thought she had to wait for her ex-husband to retire. He was 65 at the time, still working. When she found out about EDB, she applied, and she got back pay for the 12 months she'd been eligible but had applied. That an extra $12,000 she would have gotten if she'd kept waiting. So Monica, if that ta'n't your situation, if you waiting for him to start benefits so you can start yours, please look into IB. You might be eligible, and you might have already lost some money. And even if you're still married, if you're collecting benefits on your own record, you can still get spouse benefits once he starts his. You don't have to wait for him to file first. But if you're divorced, that 2-year rule is key. I hope that helps, Monica. Let me know in the comments if you have more questions. Next question. Why does SISI stop when my spouse gets approved for SSDI? This is a common question, and it depends on whether we're talking about the same person or two different people. Let's break it down both ways. First scenario, if one person is receiving SSI, and then they themselves get approved for SSDI, SSI has a maximum monthly benefit amount. Right now, it's $994 for an individual. If their SSDI benefit is more than $994 a month, their SI will stop because SSI is a welfare program designed to help people with low income, hence you getting more than the maximum SSI amount from SSDI. You're no longer eligible for SSI. Let's say John is receiving $800 a month in SI, and he gets approved for SSDI that pays $1,200 a month. His SI will stop because $1,200 is more than $994, but he'd still get his SSDI, so he actually better off. Second scenario, if one person is receiving SI and their spouse, who lives in the same household, gets approved for SSDI. In this case, the SSDI income counts as household income for SSI purposes. SSI looks at your living arrangements and all income coming into the household, plank your spouse's income. So if your spouse starts getting SSDI that extra income coming into the house, which might push your household income above the SSI eligibility limit. Let us take an example. Sarah is receiving $994 a month in SI. Her husband Mike gets approved for a SSDI that pays $1,000 a month. Now their household income is $1,994 a month. Since SSI is based on low income, Sarah and SSI might be reduced or even stopped because the household income is now too high. Think of it this way. If you're on SSI and you marry a millionaire, you would expect to keep getting Craze SSI right. The same logic applies here. If the spouse's income is from assessed DI, its SSI is still income that affects SSI eligibility. It's right, not fair, but use system works. If you are in this situation, I recommend calling the Social Security Administration to get a clear picture of how your benefits will be affected. Every case is different. Next question. Turning 67 in October. When would it be best to file for Social Security? Great question, and it be one I get every day. First, let's recap. 67 is your full retirement age, Frey. If you were born between 1943 and 1954. If you were born after that, your Frey is a little higher. But let's assume you're in the 67 group. Now, when should you file if you're already signed up for Medicare? Which you should be since you turned 65 2 years ago. Filing is super easy. You can do it online in 15 minutes or over the phone. I recommend filing 2 to 3 months before your birthday, so around July or August, so that your benefits can start right when you turn 67. But here, Renee, something to consider. Do you need the money now or can you wait? If you file early, say 3 months before your birthday, you will get a few extra checks. July, August, September, before you turn 67. Those checks will be a little smaller than your full benefit since you're filing early, but you get more checks overall. Let them do the math. Suppose your full benefit at 67 is $2,000 a month. If you file 3 months early, your monthly benefit might be reduced by about $50 to $1,950. But you get 3 extra checks. $1,950 times 3 equals $5,850. That 10 almost $6,000 extra in your pocket that you would have gotten if you waited until October. Is that worth the $50 monthly reduction? For most people, yes, especially if you need the money to pay bills, cover medical expenses, or just have a little extra cushion. And here on another tip. If you called the Social Security Administration a month or 2 ago to ask about filing, that might count as a protective filing. A protective filing is a way to lock in your earliest possible start date, even if you haven't submitted the full application yet. That means you might be able to get even more back pay. Maybe 7 or 8 checks instead of 3. So if you already called, make sure to mention that when you file at the end of the day, it's a personal decision. Fifth, you can afford to wait until 67, or even later, to get a higher monthly benefit. Great. But if you need the money now, filing early might be the right move. Just make sure you understand the trade-off. Smaller monthly checks, but more checks up front. Another popular question. Can I collect my ex-spouse's Social Security and my own Social Security at the same time? Or can I collect his when I turn 62 next year, then defer mine until 67 or 70 and switch? This is a common misconception, so let's just set the record straight. No, you can do that. Herein why there ain't a rule called deemed filing. Deemed filing means that when you file for any Social Security benefit, you're automatically deemed to be filing for all benefits you're eligible for. So, if you're eligible for your own retirement benefit and ex-spouse benefits, you can't choose to collect just the ex-spouse benefits and defer your own. You have to file for both, and you get the higher of the two or the difference, if your own benefit is less than half of his full benefit. Let me explain. Suppose your full retirement benefit is $1,200 a month, and your ex-spouse's full benefit is $3,000 a month. Half of his benefit is $1,500. Since your benefit is less than that, you'll get your own $1,200, plus the difference, $300, for a total of $1,500 a month. You can collect just his $1,500 and defer your own to get a higher amount later. That's not allowed under the deemed filing rule. Now, there was a strategy before 2015 called be-in, file, and suspend that allowed some people to do this, but that strategy was eliminated by Congress. The only exception is for surviving spouse benefits. If your ex-spouse is deceased, you can collect surviving spouse benefits at 62 and defer your own retirement benefit until 70 when you get the maximum amount. That 10 a great strategy. If you a surviving spouse, you could get some income now and then switch to a higher benefit later. But for living ex-spouses, no, you can do that. I know a debt is disappointing, but that are the rule. If you're in this situation, I recommend using the Social Security Administration online calculator to see how much you do get from your own benefit. Ex-spouse benefits. It'll help you make the best decision. Now, let's just switch gears to a question from Eric. Medicare and Medicaid in states and programs like Meals on Wheels, KeyPay, and others are in the balance. Please remind people to register to vote in their local state elects. Eric, you're absolutely right. This is crucial. This year, there are 36 governor elections across the country, and these elections will have a huge impact on programs like Mainway, Meals on Wheels, KeyPep, Children Health Insurance Program, and other vital services that millions of Americans rely on. Here and why, Medicare is a federal program, so it boxly controlled by Congress. But Medicaid is a joint federal-state program. States get funding from the federal government, but they also set their own eligibility rules and benefits. And right now, states are facing a huge funding cut, hundreds of billions of dollars less from the federal government. Why? Because Congress chose to give tax cuts to the rich and powerful instead of funding these vital programs. Let be real. The wealthy don't need tax cuts. They already making more money than they could ever spend. But regular people, we need Maidmont to cover healthcare costs. We need Meals on Wheels to make sure seniors have food to eat. We need KEP to make sure kids have health insurance. And now, states are going to have to make tough choice, cut benefits, reduce eligibility, or eliminate programs altogether. And what do politicians do when they have to make tough choices? They blame someone else, usually undocumented immigrants. But herein the truth. Undocumented immigrants are not eligible for Medicaid. It are illegal. Federal law prohibits undocumented immigrants from receiving Medicaid benefits. Some states have created their own health insurance programs for undocumented residents, funded by state tax dollars, but that being not Medicaid. So when a politician says, we have to cut Medicaid because of illegal immigrant, they lying, they using a scapegoat to avoid taking responsibility for their own choices. The real problem is that Congress has monetized tax cuts for the wealthy over funding programs that help regular people, and that's why your vote matters. Governors make decisions about Mama Steve funding, about Meals on Wheels, about KEEL. Local elections matter. School boards, county commissioners, state legislators, they all make decisions that affect your daily life. So if you're not registered to vote, do it today. If you're registered, make sure you vote in every election, not just the presidential ones. Your vote is your voice, and right now we need to make sure our voices are heard. We can let politicians cut the programs we rely on while giving handouts to the rich. It's not right, and it's not fair now. I want to share something with you guys that I've been working on, cheat sheet. I've been getting so many questions about retirement, benefits, disability, Medicare, Medicaid, spouse benefits, surviving spouse benefits, and all the myths that are out there. So I'm putting together a comprehensive cheat sheet, checklists for retirement and disability applications, a breakdown of all the common myths and the truth behind them, and a guide to what benefits you're eligible for. I am also including a section on how to respond to politicians when they lie about these programs. So when a politician says, we can't afford pull, you can pull out the cheat sheet and say, actually, you gave $2 trillion in tax cuts to the rich. I'm hoping to have this cheat sheet done today, and I am put it in the YouTube description or the comments section so you can all access it for free. This cheat sheet is designed to make things simple, no confusing jargon, just straight up facts that you can use to get the benefits you deserve and hold politicians accountable. I know how overwhelming this stuff can be, and I want to give you a tool that makes it easier, so keep an eye out for that. I will let you know as soon as it's up before we wrap up. I want to talk about our community here. You guys are the best seriously. This channel is not just me talking. In a community of people helping each other. I can't get to every question during these live Q&As, but I always see you guys in the comments answering each other questions, sharing your own experiences, and supporting each other. That yin what this is all about. We're all in this together, navigating the social security system, fighting for our benefits and holding politicians accountable. So keep that up. Keep helping each other, keep asking questions, keep fighting for what you deserve. And if you haven't already hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of these live Q&As, any updates on Social Security changes, or the cheat sheet I'm working on, also drop a comment below. Let me know what questions you have, what myths you heard, or what topics you want me to cover in future videos. I read every comment and I try to answer as many as I can. Let me leave you with this. You worked hard your whole life, paying into Social Security. You deserve every penny you're entitled to. Don't let the bureaucracy, the misinformation, or the AI fake videos stop you from getting it. If you're confused, ask questions. If you're not sure if you're eligible for a benefit, check. If you see a fake video, scroll past it and share the truth with your friends and family. And most importantly, vote. Your vote is the most powerful tool you have to change the system. I've been fighting for you for years, and I'm not going to stop together. We can make sure that Social Security is there for us, for our kids, and for future generations. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow for another live Q&A. Until then, stay informed, stay strong, and don't let anyone take your benefits away from you. Take care.